You know, I remember when he came to Nigeria before he became president. Everywhere he went, people would call me, oh, we have a man here who wants to be president of Ghana. What do you think? And the people would seek my opinion. In fact, by the time he got to the third person, he had to say, Chief, it seems everybody respects you. Everywhere I go, people mention your name. That if you tell us that I have a chance, then it means they will be able to support. So that's the kind of leverage I've been able to have. But I've never gone to his office to say because I knew him in the past. I visited the vice president, you know, John Mahama at home before he became vice president. But since he became vice president, I've never gone to him to say I want a contract. So my relationship with people is I give honor to whom it is due. These are great men, and I'm very proud to associate with them, and that's me.
Because you're also a great man.
Well, by the grace of God, I'll be great.
Well, but if you look at Africa as a continent, what would you say are the major areas that is affecting the development, based on your experience?
Is that we don't believe in ourselves. We're not united. I always tell my Ghanaian friends, I said all the investment that Ghana will go and look for in Europe, in America, in Asia, they're all there in Lagos and Abuja. Some of the wealthiest people on earth are there in Nigeria. The Mike Adenugas, the Aliko Dangote, the Tony Elumelus, you know, these guys are there. And they can attract a lot of investment to any part. If you look at UBA, for example, UBA started in Ghana. When they left Nigeria, the next place was Ghana. Today they are in about maybe 21 countries in Africa. And Nigerian banks are among the biggest that you will find anywhere. Our businessmen are among the biggest. The day Glo takes off in Ghana, you will see a communications war. There will be a price war in communications, because what they will try to do is to crash the tariffs, and then the ordinary people will benefit from it. So as Africans, we must unite. And I got that first from Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah. When I read his book when I was in school, Africa Must Unite. And I'm surprised that most Africans have not read that book, and I will recommend it to my viewers today that if you have not read Kwame Nkrumah's book, Africa Must Unite, you must go and read it.
Is it about reading or not taking what is in
when you read, then hopefully you will imbibe. But you don't imbibe what you are not even aware of.
Yeah.
So for me, I've been a very good student of Kwame Nkrumah. I also love Aikoyama, who said the beautiful ones are not yet born. I believe that the beautiful ones have been born, but maybe we have not recognized them.
Yeah, the beautiful ones have been born, but we need to really recognize them. But then, so many people think that the major problem in Africa is leadership.
Oh, certainly.
We are not blessed with good leaders. So when are we going to have that?
Oh, I believe we have good leaders. You see, part of the problem are bad followers. I contested to be the president of Nigeria. And yet some people will say, oh, he's not qualified, he has no experience. It's because they have not even bothered to do their research. These days, all you have to do, you don't even need to talk to me. You go on Google and put Dele Momodu, and you will see my entire life history. Everything is there. You can read from your phone. You can read from your laptop. So there are good leaders. But the problem is that the bad leaders have been in power for so long. They control the apparatus of power. And the apparatus of power usually is money. After money is coercion. The use of force. They control the police. They control the army. So it is important that we begin to identify and scrutinize our leaders before we elect them. If you don't scrutinize them and you just elect people based on how much money they can give, a lot of young people in my area, they were collecting 1,000 naira and all that from politicians. And they believe, oh, Dele Momodu won't give us that kind of money. Are you going to spend 1,000 naira for 4 years? When you sell your vote for 1,000 naira, you understand? Which is like 1 Ghana cedi. It means that you are going to suffer for the next 4 years. Are you now going to spend 1 Ghana cedi for the next 4 years? So it's not that we don't have good leaders. We have great leaders, especially in the private sector. You can see that our leaders in the private sector are doing great, while our leaders in the political circles are people who have never managed any business They have not managed resources, they have not managed people.
But until people like you came out, don't you think that what we do, the expert, the intellectuals, what they do is rather to criticize, but they are not coming forth?
No, we've had people. Chief Abiola came forward. He worked for it. I agree with you that maybe we didn't start early. One of my biggest regrets in life is I didn't go into seeking political power early. I was already in politics. You understand?
Yeah.
As far back as 1982, when I was 22, I was already in politics. But I did not seek power. Those who are in power today, for example, my president, Goodluck Jonathan, entered politics around 1997, 98. I was already in politics. But we didn't think of contesting election. We thought we could just leave it in the hands of some people. Every time there is crisis, we will go and demonstrate on the streets, only for bad people to take over power. So what we have learned now is that we're not just going to be demonstrating on the street, we will also be participating in politics. We also contest elections until we get there. And what gives me hope is that it took President Kufuor 3 times. It took President Atamis 3 times to get power. I've done it once, so I still have 2 chances, but I think by the second one I'll get it.
Well, that is a very great one. Don't forget the prophecy when he was born and when he was growing, that this child will become a great man. So I still believe that you are getting there.
Oh, certainly. I can tell you that we have prophecies, and all the pastors are my friends.
The pastors keep praying. And when he becomes, maybe he become the special advisor on religious matters. But sir, is this all over Africa? You are, talking now as a Nigerian. We have several other, brains scattered around African countries. When are we going to have them so that we can bring about, a kind of new?
Oh, but if you look all over, even if you look at Kenya, if you look all over the places now, intellectuals are coming out, businessmen are coming out. You see, because leadership is not about politics. Leadership is about management of people and resources. And if you've never managed 1 million in your life, suddenly they ask you to go and manage 1 billion, go and manage 1 trillion, you will fail. That is the bane of Africa, and that is why I believe that Ghana is a very lucky country. Because when you look at Ghana, the politics of Ghana, you will find a lot of very good people, great intellectuals, men who have distinguished themselves in their private capacity. What we find in Nigeria is you have professional politicians who have not distinguished themselves in private practice. They just go into politics, get one godfather or the other, and then they put them in power. And that's why they fail. So you need people like us who have been able to manage people and resources. It is important. Until you do that, then we will continue to fail. I can tell you, if I had been the president of Nigeria today, I said it during our presidential debate, I would have created 200,000 jobs from day one. And people say, how are you going to do it? And I told them, wait, it's very easy. My nephew, I sent to school. He graduated for 3 years, couldn't get a job. So I told him, stop looking for a job that does not exist. Why don't you think of becoming an entrepreneur? And this boy went back, did a business plan, and came back to me and said he's going into farming. Today, he's cultivating 10 hectares of land in Osun State in Nigeria at the cost of 1 million naira. 1 million naira is just about $6,000-7,000, payable in 4 installments. The money we're spending on a presidential jet in Nigeria, 18 billion. With 18 billion, I will create 18,000 millionaire farmers instantly, like my nephew. Each of them will be able to employ between 10 to 20 people.
Well, Trailblazers Africa, we are looking at how to move Africa forward.
Yes.
So don't think this is Manifesto Day or maybe a kind of campaign. Chief Dele Momodu is our guest on Trailblazers Africa. Now, there's one, I was with a friend yesterday, and after you have agreed to be on the program, and I said, Chief Dele Momodu will be my guest on Trailblazers. And he said to me, yes, I've known this man for quite some time. One thing I like about him is a very humble man. Is Chief Dele Momodu really humble, or is a little bit arrogant in humility?
No. What you see is what you get. I was trained by my mom to respect everyone. Whether you are my cleaner, whether you are the biggest man on earth, I believe that God created us all equally. And your cleaner today can become your boss tomorrow. I've seen miracles in my life. And I knew that if we told some people 20, 30 years ago that this is where Dele will be today, they would say it's not possible. When I was following Chief Abiola less than 20 years ago, little did I know that one day I would be a presidential candidate in Nigeria. In a country of 150 million people, with little resources, I went all the way, contested, campaigned, and people voted for me from all over Nigeria, even if I did not win the election first time. So it has taught me to be humble. It has taught me to respect my fellow human beings. And as a leader, you must be a servant of the people.
As a leader, you must be a servant of the people. At various occasions, when you see Chief Dele Momodu, if not because of Ovation and because of the kind of job, he likes to just sit, quietly. Are you shy?
No.
But
far from it. I just believe that respect begets respect. If you jump, I know people, when they go to any function, they are going straight to the front. You should wait to be called. It's simple etiquette. It's not even just about being humble. You should wait to be called, because it is not your birthright to sit in front. The first shall be the last, while the last shall be the first.
Wow. Well, how many awards can we say?
I've lost count.
You have lost count.
I've lost count.
I recall as a student then, far back, you were unable to come for the award. Your wife came. I will remind you, maybe after the show. Now, who is Chief Dele Momodu at home?
Oh, I'm a great family man. I have a wife and 4 children, all boys, between the ages of 16 plus and 6 plus. I believe God has blessed me mightily. I'm a family man. I bond very well with my family. I talk to them every day. Even on my way here, I was still talking to my wife in the car. I speak to my kids. I encourage them, and I want them to know that hard work is prayer in action. That's what did it for me, and that's what God will do in their lives.
Hard work is prayer in action. What is your word of advice to probably the younger generation that are watching this program and say, well, here is my mom again selling rice by the roadside, and here is a man that the mother was selling some years back, and today is all over the world.
Is that you can make it, if you believe you can make it. But you won't make it if all you do is practice hooliganism, go to sleep in nightclubs, get drunk, and vomit all over the streets, chasing women recklessly. The women will come to you when you are successful. Oh yes. If you say you like good things of life, all the good things of life you desire and deserve will come your way, but you must pay the price. And the price is you must invest in your future.
Invest in your future. And to our leaders, because some of the leaders of Africa are also watching this program.
To our leaders, you must be the servant of the people. You brought nothing to this world, you're not going to take anything from here. A lot of leaders believe that they are in power just to steal, to line their pockets. I tell you, the day of reckoning will come. The world is changing, and we must change with it. Otherwise, we'll be swept away by the storm.
Somebody also said to me that you are generous. Is it because you are successful? Because you say you are not rich, but you are successful. What brings about your generosity? Chief M.K.O. Abiola's line, or how did it come?
Chief Abiola used to tell us that the hand of the giver is always on top, but you don't give what you don't have. So I try to manage what I have with so many people. Yeah. So my generosity does not mean that if you come to me, you say you need $1 million and I don't have it, I'm not going to break a bank. So what I do is that if I have just 10 Ghana cedis, I'm ready to share it with as many people as I can. So that is my own idea of generosity. It's good to be nice to people because you never know who would help you tomorrow. And everywhere I go, I meet people. The world is so small and it's getting smaller.
The world is so small and it's getting smaller. What would you like to be remembered for?
A man who came to this world through humble parents and by dint of hard work and the good grace of our good Lord.
You see, in media, in journalism, we usually end with what other things do you have to say? That is when you have not exhausted all you want to say. But then I hope I have not still exhausted this man, because he has so much story we can't finish it in a day. I have to be cutting him so that we can really, manage the time. We have 1 hour would not be enough to to have Chief Dele Momodu on the program. But then what should we expect? What should Africa, what should your country, what should the citizens of this continent, what should the society expect from you?
Well, is that I'll continue to do my best to promote the best of Africa. Africa has been underdeveloped for so long. Africa has been maligned unjustifiably for so long. And it is time for us to tell our own stories. We have stories of greatness, of a glorious heritage that must be told by us. If we don't tell it, no one is going to tell it like us.
So what story are you telling some of
the story of a positive side of Africa, that we're not synonymous with famine, we're not synonymous with diseases, we're not synonymous with wars. Africa is a great continent. In fact, it's the only virgin continent left in the world today. And whoever is smart should come to Africa. This is where to be at this time.
This is where to be at this time, so says Chief Dele Momodu, the publisher of Ovation magazine. He is my guest on today's episode of Trailblazers Africa. When Ovation comes out, what was the vision then? Did you believe that you were going to be all over the world, or just say, let me do it in London, and if possible,
from the one, I wanted a global brand.
Wow.
And that's why, if you look at the very first issue of Ovation, issue 1, the man on the cover was Mohammed Al-Fayed, the Egyptian billionaire, the owner of Harrods. And the man was so impressed when he saw the quality of the magazine that he sent us bottles of champagnes, of wines, and bars of chocolates from Harrods. And he wrote a beautiful letter, an ovation for Ovation. The second issue of Ovation had Seal, the singer, on the cover. A lot of people didn't know Seal was Nigerian. At that time, Seal was valued at about $15 million in Hollywood. And we had an interview with his mom in Nigeria. That was the first world exclusive. And you will not believe it. The National Enquirer, which was the biggest circulating paper in America, 4 million copies a week, wrote to me seeking permission to reproduce the story. And that was how I told them, I don't need money, just copied from Ovation. And that was how Ovation got a free advert in 4 million copies in America. So from day one, we wanted a global brand.
You've been to London, you've been to several countries. I have met with so many Africans. The moment they are outside their own country, their continent, after 2 weeks, you hear them say, yeah, God, you got to say, man, but how come?
No, it's all about inferiority complex.
Wow.
Oh yes. When my kids used to go to a particular school in London, and then every time they come back, they are speaking, I can't hear. They talk like a human being. So what they speak in school is different from what they will speak to me at home. But when they are speaking through them, they talk like a human being. So human beings must speak clearly. When the queen, the owner of the language, when she speaks, it's like eating banku with okra.
Wow.
It flows. Or my favorite omuto on Sunday when I go to Maui.
Now, Ovation. Where did you get the name from?
It's funny. I'd left my job as the editor of Classic in 1991, and I wanted to start a paper. So I called a friend of mine, Unle Bakare, who is the publisher of Encomium.